Hello everyone and welcome to the third devlog of Cat Island. In this episode we will discuss where we've been at for the past 2 weeks, our small rewrite that we had, and how multiplayer testing is going. I hope you guys enjoy. Let's get straight into the video. The last 2 weeks I have been very busy rewriting and decoupling many systems. With a project of this size, waiting for Unity to recompile everything after any tiny change took absolutely forever. I wanted to decouple the game and break each major system into DLLs to speed up compile times. This is something you should do from the start, but I wanted to do a quick and dirty prototype, and these temporary solutions I used eventually became permanent. The reason breaking the project into DLLs makes Unity so much faster is that instead of recompiling every single script after every single change, you only have to recompile the scripts in that DLL. A major drawback to this system is that two systems cannot reference each other. One can reference the other, but not both. For example, if we need the voxel system to reference the inventory system cannot reference the voxel system. I'll link an article down below with more information. This one limitation made breaking these systems down much more complex. It took me over a week to refactor the entire codebase, but now that it is done, my life is so much easier. Before we get too deep into the coding though, let's take a look at the art side. So, in between this episode and the last episode, we implemented the detailing system. I'll go a little bit more into depth of the coding side on that in a little bit, but for now, we had Rubino make a table and 2 chair variants. In traditional voxel-based games, objects can only be placed on a set grid. With our detailing system, certain objects will be allowed to be placed anywhere in the world, on any surface, completely freeform. This will allow you to completely customize your buildings in your town however you see fit. We decided on this system to allow the player to express themselves more freely. Voxel-based games often struggle to get away from that Minecrafty feel, but personally, I feel voxel-based building is the best building system seen currently in games, and it allows for the most expression not present in other implementations such as in Rust with their modular building approach. By using a voxel system as a foundation and not as a restriction, we allow the player to express themselves more freely, get away from that Minecrafty feel, and it will allow us to implement features not seen in games like Minecraft. In the background is a time-lapse of Ruben going through and making these models for us. If you wish to see the full time-lapse, I'll link his channel down in the description below. Ruben also made a ton of other models this week. We are getting ready for another big generation update, and one of the things we need is a lot more vegetation. So he touched up the onions a little bit this week, and he also made a spruce tree. The island will have several mini biomes. Since we are on an island, it doesn't make a ton of sense to have mini biomes. For example, it doesn't make sense to include a desert biome and also a tundra biome, as this wouldn't make sense to be on a tiny little island. To keep the world feeling diverse though, we'll have mini biomes, where the trees are slightly different, there are different plants and vegetables, and also the wildlife will be different. This will keep the world feeling diverse, while also staying true to the island vision and all making sense. We currently have a vision for 3 different biomes. A light forest biome, that's what you currently see in the game. We also want a real dense jungle-y biome, with very tall trees and thick vegetation that's hard to navigate. The final biome we hope to include is a small biome that has many spruce trees near a mountain in the center of the island, hence why we need the new spruce trees. Ruben also made some good models for our workbenches. Currently we have 2 main crafting stations, the workbench and the tool station. The workbench is used for, crafting things like sticks and wood planks. The tool bench is used to make custom tools using any material found in the world. He did a really good job with these and they look great. The workbench is still a work in progress. We intend on adding a little lantern and some tools in the background, but it's a great start. Before we get into the code, I would like to announce that we made a Facebook and Twitter account. I quickly want to ask that you please follow us on both, and if you're not subscribed, go ahead and press that button now. Our website should be releasing soon. All links will be in the description down below. Alright, let's get back into the devlog. The first thing I want to talk about is the detailing system. Now this was actually pretty simple to implement, it just took a lot of planning and forethought to implement seamlessly with the voxel system. Originally, I wanted to use a custom shader to outline what you were going to place. I could not get this working, and I didn't think it would look that good in the end result anyways, so I ended up scrapping this. I'm very new to shaders, and I hate visual scripting. So using shader graph, while it is easier, it's not my preferred method, and I can't find a good tutorial for HLSL. After scrapping that, I went straight into making a script that I could use to display any model and tell that player if they can place the model by using a blue material to show that it is not being blocked by anything and a red material to show that it is currently unplaceable. By abstracting the system, I can also use it to display voxels that are being placed on the grid but are using a custom model. We also use it to show the player the current rotation of the voxel they're about to place. So by making this completely decoupled from any other system in the game, I got 3 uses out of it for free. I will post a video on Twitter of this in action. I currently can't get the footage for that as I just switched to Linux and the project does not work on Linux right now. The next thing I started work on was a dialogue system. I have implemented 4 different dialogue systems and each time I feel like there's room for improvement. So this time I took a reference not only from my previous projects but also from other games such as Fallout 4 and Fallout New Vegas. And I created what I think is the best branching dialogue system that I have made yet. I quickly made some temporary dialogue for Onyx to get the point and the current objective across, but besides that, it currently has a lot of room to grow. The final thing I worked on is getting multiplayer set up. If you remember in the last episode, I talked about how hard it was to test multiplayer, and since then we have switched from the Facepunch transport to Unity's built-in transport. This allows me to test on one client and not need 2 separate computers to test. So far, I've gotten player movements synced up so you can see on each client the other player move. In addition to that, I have it set up so the host client can send all the world data to the secondary client. This was a huge hurdle and I didn't know if I was going to be able to accomplish it. Cat Island is broken down into 3 different tier groups. A chunk is a 16 by 16 group of voxels. Each 4 by 4 group of chunks is broken into a region, and then the regions are what makes up the world. Usually, instead of saving the entire world, we only save each region, and then we would send each region to the client. The only problem is each region is 26 megabytes on average, and has a lot of data to send, so we have to send it in tiny little pieces. Making sure each region fragment ends up in the right order and at the right time is a very difficult process, but now that it is done, it works fantastically, and each client should have no problem syncing with the host. Before I end this devlog, I quickly want to mention that this is not a comprehensive list of everything we did since our last update video. If you want a more in-depth list of changes and fixes, check our blog post out on Steam, and wishlist our game while you're there. Thank you everybody for watching. Don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Twitter for more frequent updates. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more Cat Island devlogs in the future, and leave a comment with your ideas and make sure to wishlist Cat Island on Steam. All links will be in the description down below. See you guys next week.